Good morning, it's Jackie with Paper Moments, and I'm here to share with you an album I made with my Carta Bella Home Again collection. I made an 8.5 by 9.5 album, and these papers are just absolutely gorgeous. So it is a 8.5 by 9.5 with a 2.5-inch spine, and then you can see I used some of the chipboard here and made a little dangle off the spine with it. I'm not sure if you can see it with the light there, but all I did was back the chipboard with some black cardstock, and then punched holes and added them onto Tim Holtz little fasteners, and then some 1-inch black gingham ribbon that I had in my stash. I used one of the cut-aparts and mounted it onto chipboard, and then layered it onto the top of the album. Tim Holtz doorknob attachment, Prima flowers that I had from my stash, and then I took 3 of the chipboard pieces and the flags and added them here. So, and on the back I just did the same, and then added the chipboard piece back here. So, like I said, 8.5 by 9.5. My pages are 8 by 9. And on the front cover, I did a waterfall. And then I have a pocket also inside here, which I forgot to put something inside there. And then off the side of the waterfall, I also have a side pocket with a tab. So this could also go down in here. I did use the Country Craft Black Artisan cardstock for the album. And then I used 1 package of the Home Again collection plus 6 single sheets. I used 6 of the solid Home Again sheets, which were 12 by 12, 1 chipboard phrases, and then 1 sticker sheet as well. So this flips over, and you've got room here for a photo. This is a pocket that I matted one of the cut-aparts and put that in there. Flip it over, another pocket, and another cut-apart. I didn't use the cut-apart one, I just used some extra paper, and made a little tag there. Left the pages full. Like I said, this paper is just absolutely gorgeous. So you have room for plenty of photos here. This flips over, and I have another pocket here with some cut-aparts. And then the back also is another pocket here with some cut-aparts. And again, I left the pages blank for photos. This one here is a side pocket with 2 with a mat and then a cut-apart. This I just lift up, and then you've got 4 photos. 4 photos, and this is a chipboard piece here. Next page, I've got another pocket with 2 tags. One's a cut-apart, and one is another tag that I created with extra paper and some of the stickers on it. And it is a angle pocket, and then this flips up, and then you have room for 2. Let me go ahead and grab one of these. And then this flips up, and then you have room that I left here open for 2 photos there. And then room here for photos, and here for photos. And you can even use this as a journaling spot. Open again, and you've got 2 nice areas for photos, and then again a large landscape for photos. So you can actually put a 5 by 7 on this one here. Next page, I did a crisscross pocket, and I added a cut-apart here, and then I made 2 mats, and I believe these are 6 by 6, both of these. So, and these are backed on solid cardstock, and then the black Artisan cardstock. And just put that. Isn't that beautiful? I love that paper. And this is going to go right in there. And then I've used some chipboard pieces here. Next page, again, I had to use that. I just love that. So you have room here for a photo. And then this is opens up to two nice 4x6. Another flap here. Photo. Two pieces of chipboard. Flip it over. And then that has, again, a nice area for big area for photos. And then these are, I believe these are 3.5 by 6. But let me double check. Those are 4x6 too, and these are also 4x6. So lots of room for 4x6 photos. And that flips over. This page, I did a cut apart here, and this flips open. Again, a nice area for photos. Some use of the stickers here for two 4x6 areas. Again, another 2x4, and then the open landscape here for larger photos or multiple photos. And then again, another flap, and then I use some of the chipboard here. Open it up, you've got your two areas of 4x6, and then a side pocket with two more photo tags using the leftover paper. The back cover, I used a double angle pocket. So you have your larger area back here that's going to hold quite a bit of photos. And then you've got a 6x6 mat, and then a 4x6 mat. And then the pocket here, you got your cut aparts and another photo mat, and that I just used one of the die cut chipboard pieces on that one. And then this one here. And then a chipboard piece, and then a couple of stickers here. So that is my album. And I will be sharing this with the tutorial on it. So I hope you like it. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye. Hi everyone. Okay, we're going to make the album for my Home Again mini album that I created. And we're going to start with the cover and then move to the pages. So for the cover, I made my album 8.5 by 9.5. And you're going to need two pieces of chipboard that are 8.5 by 9.5. And I've already covered mine with the score tape sheets. You're going to need two pieces of cardstock that are 10.5 by 11.5 for the main pages. You're going to need for your spine one piece of chipboard that's 2.5 by 9.5, and then one piece of cardstock that is 4.25 by 11.5. So let's get started. So I am making my album cover the new way that Tamara from Country Craft Creation has created, and makes it so much easier to do your albums. So we're going to put one sheet of I'm going to use my other scoreboard. Okay, so we're going to put one sheet of the 11.5 by 10.5. Okay, and then these are 1-inch strips cut from chipboard, And we're just going to line that up like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get my first piece. And I'm just going to set it right up in here. Push it right up. And I'm going to go ahead and do my other piece when I have it, and then we'll score each one as we make it. So. Just going to line this up here. So what this is doing is allowing me the 1 inch on all 4 sides. And let's go ahead and do the spine. And score tape off. And I'm just going to line it up here. Okay, we're going to get rid of that. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my scoreboard for right now. Alright. So what I'm doing is we're going to go ahead and crease our lines. And all I'm doing is folding it over. And this way, you can see that I've got my square, my little box up here on the corner. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut those out, just bringing them to the meet at the corner of my chipboard. And I'm going to go ahead and angle them now. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other one too before I And very lightly, I'm just going right back and creasing right there along the chipboard. Okay. I'm going to use my art glitter glue. I'm just running the glue along the edge of the chipboard and then over my tabs. And then bringing that right up. Okay. I'm just running my scoreboard along the edges here just to make a nice clean shape. Now, I've got these little tiny thing where I didn't go as close to the chipboard as I could, so I'm just going to nip those off. They're just little tiny. There's our first one, and we'll move on to the second one. So we're going to do the same thing, and again, just really gently run your scored bone file right along the edge of the chipboard, just to kind of give it a nice, good crease against it. Now, the cover is going to be 8.5 by 9.5. Our inside pages are going to be 8 by 9. And you're going to have 4 pages for this album. You and again, just go over the top. And I got a couple of those again. And I'm not cutting the chipboard, I'm just cutting it. Okay, there's our second one. And let's go ahead and start with the spine. So on the spine, we're going to do it a little bit different. I'm still going to now I am using the Artisan black cardstock from Country Card Creations, so I can put a little bit more pressure on this cardstock than I would if I was using lighter weight. But I use only the Artisan cardstock. I love it. I don't have cracking. My albums last a lot longer. So, okay. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to make our flap. So I'm going to fold that over. And then I'm cutting from here to the top. Okay, and we're going to do that on the opposite side. And got too much glue, the excess. Turn this over. these up. Add my adhesive, and when you add your adhesive, you don't want to come too close to the edge of the chipboard, because you're going to just butt it up. You're not going to put it on top of it. So, turn it over. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now, I didn't cut this, so I'm going to have to cut it. We are going to need I'm looking in my scraps. Yeah, I do have one. So I'm going to cut this one. So this piece of scrap is a 5-inch, and we're going to cut it down to, so it's 9.5. We're going to go 9 5/8. Just making sure that there's a lot of glue on there because I want to make sure that it sticks really good. So I'm going to come back and line this up. Okay. A little bit more glue on this side. This. see where it picked up over on this side, so I'm going to add more glue. When you use a larger piece like this, sometimes you have to really apply a lot of glue. There is our album. Okay, so we're done with the album, and I will set this aside, and we're going to start on the pages. For the pages, you're going to want to cut 4 pieces of cardstock that are going to be 8.5 by 9. Okay, and our pages are going to be 8 by 9 with a 1/2 inch gusset. So we're going to go ahead and cut 4 of them that are 8 by 9. And then we're going to score on the 8.5 across, or 8.5 by 9, I'm sorry, 4 of them. And then on the 8.5 on the top, you want to come down and you want to score just a 1/2 inch. And that is going to be your pages, and you want 4 of them. Page 1. You're going to need, for the front of page 1, you are going to need 1 piece that's 4.5 by 9. One piece that is 8 by 5 7/8, and 2 4 by 5 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. This is going to be that 1/2 inch is going to be what we adhere the page down onto the spine with. So taking your 4.5 by 9, with the 4.5 along the top, you want to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay. On your 8.5 by 5 7/8, you're going to score on the 8.5, or the 8 at the top. You want to score at 1/2 inch. Okay. So we're not going to miter the corners on this piece because of the fact that it's in the middle of the page. We'll be all right. So I'm going to go ahead and just adhere it, and I'm going to eyeball it from the middle, from the top to the bottom, and put it in the middle. Move it along the side. And that's your first flap. Okay? Then you're going to take your 4.5 by 9, and we are going to miter the corners on this. And we're going to lay it right on top line it up from top to bottom, and right next to the fold. So that gives you one flap, and then you've got your inside flap, okay? And then on your two pieces that are 4 by 5, we're going to score them as pockets. So you're going to score them at 5 across. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Half an inch on each side. And then along the bottom. On both of them. And line in your corners. I'm going to double check before I fold them. Yep. Okay. When I make my pockets, make sure that they lay flat. I want to make sure that there's no overlap here on these two seams. So I'm just bringing them down. Add my adhesive. Line it up with the sides and the bottom. We're going to do the same thing with the second one. And then I'm going to put a magnet on here. I get the magnets because I didn't grab them. Okay. And that's the front of page 1. So now we're going to turn it over. And on page 2, the back of page 1, back of page 1, you're going to have a flap that's going to be 8 by 5 7/8. Okay, so this is going to be along our, that's going to be our hinge. So we're going to bring this over here on this side. And again, I'm not going to I'm just going to add my adhesive and eyeball it and match it up to the side of it. Okay. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to take a piece of 5 by 9 and we're going to score it at 2.5, and then you're going to score it at 1/2 inch on each side. And miter these, and miter this one. And I'm going to miter both of them, so I'm just doing it right along the fold. And then interesting. So I cut that too big. So I want to take 1 inch off of that. No, 1/2 inch. I want to take 1/2 inch off of it. Yeah. I want to take a 1/2 inch off of this. So it should be, let's see, 8. So it should be 8.5 by 5. And then we're going to score this one at 1/2 inch. Perfect, okay. So I'm going to add my adhesive here. And my adhesive here. And bring it up. And make sure that the this over. That's going to give me a double pocket on that. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going back and I'm going to take this pocket off. I'm not happy with the bulk on it, and I'm going to do the same thing on that one. So, if so I'm just going to start all over. Okay. So I need this to be 9, and this to be 4.5. Score at 1/2 inch. Sorry, I didn't make a prototype, and I apologize because I'm having you rip paper off. But I will make note in the tutorial not to do the first part, to wait until I show you to do the second. Alright, so we're going to add this one on. Okay. Match it right up. Alright. And this is 5 by, we're going to go 8. 5 by 8. And we're going to score this 5 by 8 at 4. 8 across. We're going to come down and score it at 4. Turn it, and we're going to score this at 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And that's going to eliminate the bulk that I had on that one, in the first one. So, okay. We're going to do the same thing as we did the other one. We're going to miter both ends. And I'm just going to line this up with this one here. And that takes a lot of the bulk away. Alright, so I'm only going to use one magnet, and I'm going to put this one here. Alright, and then I'm going to come over here and add this one here. And there's your page 1. Okay. And I think I'm going to move them over. Okay. Page 1. And we'll move on to page 2. Okay, for page 2, you're going to want 3 pieces of cardstock. One piece you're going to cut at 5 by 10, 10. And you're going to score it. It's going to be a pocket, so you're going to score it a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So score it a 1/2 inch on 3 sides, and then you're going to need a piece that's 4.5 by 4.5, and on the 4.5 on the top, you want to just score it at a 1/2 inch, and then a 4.5 by 5, and along the 5 inch, you want to score it at a 1/2 inch. Okay, let's start with our pocket. So let's go ahead and miter the corners. Let's fold it up to be a pocket. I'm going to check. I need to cut this down a little bit. And this one as well. The less bulk you have here on the corners, the flatter it lays. So I like to make sure there's room between the two. Go ahead and add our adhesive. And we're going to put this on the right hand side. So I'm going to turn my paper over and match it edge to edge. So this is going to be a side pocket. And we're going to take your 4.5 by 5. Go ahead and score the score line. And I'm going to go ahead and miter the side 2 edges. And this one is going to go on the bottom part of the top of the pocket. So it's going to go right here. And then the 4.5 by 4.5, you're going to do the same thing. And that's going to go on the top. And again, line it up edge to edge. Now, on this one, you got a flap, top flap, and you got a bottom flap. And then you've got your side pocket. I'm not putting any magnets or anything on here yet until I decorate, because I don't know if I'm going to use magnets or if I'm going to use maybe a ribbon. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, so I'll figure that one out once I start to decorate. So I'll just leave it like that. So now for the back part of page 2, you're going to want three pieces. One cut at 6.5 by 9, which is going to be a flap. So go ahead and fold that over. Score it on the 6.5 inch side at a 1/2 inch, which is going to give you your 6-inch flap. Okay. And that's going to go right there. And then your 4.5 by 9. Score it at 1/2 inch. And that's going to go right here. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to miter these corners just a wee bit. And I'm going to just add it to the middle of this one. And miter these. Make sure you have it on your left-hand side. And that's going to flap open there. This is going to flap open at the top. And then on your your 3.5 by 5.5, you're going to score it on 3 sides. So you're going to score it at a half, and then turn it and score it at another half. And you're going to miter both sides. Bring those down. And then I'm going to make a notch at 1.5 inches on the top and 1.5 inches on the bottom. And we're going to actually cut it and make an angle pocket on this. So I want to line this up here and here. And then just cut that off. Okay. And I'm going to adhere it to this flap. Right now. And we're going to need a magnet on this one. So we're going to put the magnet, I'm going to put it here. I'll put it at the bottom. And open this up. And there's page 2. Alright. Page 3. Page 3, you're going to make a crisscross pocket. So what I've done is I've cut a 6.5 by 9. 6.5 by 9, and I've marked it at, let me see what I'm marking at. 4.5, that's half of it, alright. And I'm going to bring my, I did score it at 1/2 inch on one side. So I'm just going to take my 4.5 mark, and I'm just going to cut it from end to end like this. Alright, right down the middle, so we can make a crisscross. Okay, now we're going to score. Alright, so I'm going to score this. This one's going to be my right hand side. This one's going to be my left hand side. Alright, so I'm going to score this one at 1/2 inch. This way, and then I'm going to turn it and score it at 1/2 inch this way. This one I'm going to score, and I'm going to just turn it over the other way. I'm going to score it the same way, 1/2 inch, and then the 1/2 inch on the bottom. Okay. Again, my hinge is to my left, and I'm going to go ahead and miter these corners. Now, when you miter the corners, you're going to have to make sure that you go really deep. So like when I did this one, see how that's sticking out there, and you can see that right there. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to really take it at a wider angle. Okay, so this one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. So I have the crisscross on here. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive. Line it up. This is just going to butt up against the score line on the left-hand side, and I'm going to bring it up and line it up here. Now I have a crisscross. I'm going to pocket here, and I got a pocket here. Okay, flip that one over. That's all we're going to do on the front of that one. Go ahead and get rid of the scraps here real quick. So for the back, we're going to do a 6.5 by 9, scored out a 1/2 inch along the 6.5 at the top. And we're going to crank that down. And we're going to miter the corners on this. And then you need two 4 by 7. And you score those at a 1/2 inch on one side. So, your 6 by 9 is going to go on your left hand side. And your 4 by 7s are going to go on top of that on your right hand side. And I'm not putting them right at the edge, I'm just bringing them up about a 1/2 inch. And I'm just butting it right up to the edge of the score line for your hinge. So you're going to have this flap, this one, and then this one. And I'll put magnets on it once I start to decorate because I'm not sure what I want to do. Alright, page 4. Page 4 for the front. You're going to need a 6 by 9 and a 6 by 7. 6 by 9 scored at a 1/2 inch on the long side. Mind your corners. And 6 by 7, you want to score it at a 1/2 inch on the with the 7 on the top. You want to score it at 1/2 inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this one up against the spine. use a tiny fraction. Line it up in the middle. Go over your hinge. Line it right up to the hinge. And this one on the 6x9 is going to go on your right hand side. Match it up edge to edge. And that's going to pop right over there. Turn it over, and we're going to do the back side of page 4. And on the back I have you're going to have a 6x9, and again, score it at ½ inch. It's going to go on your left-hand side. That's going to be your flap. And then you're going to cut a 4.5 by 10, score it on 3 sides. It's going to be your pocket, and that's going to go on your right hand side. So you got your large flap, which is going to give you your room for your 4x6 photos, a large pocket, which is going to allow you to add some mats in there. So this photo album is going to hold lots, this mini album is going to hold lots of photos once we get that. So that's page 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I can't do the inside cover or the back and front end side cover or the back inside cover until after I pick out my papers to cover the front of the back of the inside. So I will come back and show you that in just a few. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, back to show you how I created my waterfall pocket for the inside cover of my album, along with the back page pocket, double pocket that I'm using for this album. So for the front of the cover, inside cover, we're going to make a waterfall, and you're going to need for your base a piece of cardstock that's 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. You're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock cut at 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, and on those you're going to score them at 1/2 inch on the 4 3/4 side. So I've already scored mine a 1/2 inch, 4 3/4 across the top, and then come down at 1/2 inch. And all we're going to do is your basic waterfall. And let me go ahead and score these on the score line. So again, 4 sheets of cardstock cut at 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, scored at a 1/2 inch. Glitter glue here, and we're not going to miter either one of the edges. You're going to just add your glue to your fold on your score line, and then I'm going to turn mine this way so I can actually see, and I'm just going to butt it up to the very top of the page and align it to both sides of the page to create my waterfall. Okay, and then the next one, I'm going to add my adhesive, my art glitter glue, and I'm going to butt it up right next to that seam line. So I'm not going to go on top of it. I'm just going to butt it right up, making sure my edges are meeting. Same thing with the next one, and again, you should have 4 of these cut already, scored at a 1/2 inch and burnished. And then just line it up again, butt it right up to that 1/2 inch that you just laid down. And then the very last one. So this is your waterfall. On your base. I will add a magnet to the back of this and to the back of this, or probably right here to hold it down. Then for the pocket, you're going to need a piece of cardstock cut at 4 by 7 1/4. And again, you want to score it on 3 sides, a 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, rotate it a 1/2 inch, rotate it a 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and miter my corners on my pocket. Burnish my score lines. Okay, and there's our pocket. Now I did already cut my pattern paper, and I cut it at 3 3/8 by 6 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the top of my pocket. Alright, let's go ahead and get our album and its front cover. Now, on my waterfall, I've already added my paper in that, matted it, so you should have your 4 waterfalls and then the back page. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to align the pocket up here first. I'm going to add my pocket. Right to the bottom. I'm going to match it up to the bottom. I'm going to kind of eyeball it here to make sure I've got it where I want it on my page. And now I don't measure, I eyeball. You can measure to find the middle of your page. Okay. Now, I'm going to slip this right in here, right into my pocket. Match that up. Okay. Now, I want this to be a pocket here on this side. So when I open this, I'm going to have a pocket here, and I'm going to have a pocket here on the side. So I'm only going to add my adhesive to 3 sides of this. So I'm going to add it at the top, at the bottom, and alongside the one side. And this is going to be the side that is closest to my inside of my again, just lay it right in there. And make sure it's inside that pocket. Alright. And then I'm going to bring it up and then just set it down here. Okay, so I'm going to each one of these and make sure that it's adhered. Alright. Now, for the inside of the pocket, you're going to measure from that. So it's about a 5.5 inch. I'm going to make my tag coming out of here at 5 1/4. I'm going to go 5 3/8. 5 3/8. And that should fit right in there. Okay, let's go 5 1/4. Just to make sure I don't want it to stick. I want it to be moved in and out of there fairly easy. Okay. Alright. Now, our waterfall is 6 1/4. So I'm going to make my pocket, or my tag, 5 1/4 by, I'm going to go 6 1/4 because I want it to extend out a little bit, alright? And I'll round my corners on this, but I want to be able to, that to stick out just a little bit, alright? So, my tag is going to be 5 1/4 by 6 1/4. And that's going to be our waterfall pocket. And then we're also going to have another pocket down here as well. Okay? Alright, so that's the front of the book. For the back of the book, we're going to make a double pocket. And you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. One cut at 3.5 by 8.5. And one cut at 8 by 8. So we're going to start with the 8 by 8 first. Move this out of the way. And you're going to score it on, and it's going to be an angle pocket, so you're going to score it 8 across and come down at 1/2 inch. Rotate it 8 across and come down 1/2 inch. Okay. Then you're also going to need a piece that, like I said, 3.5 by 8.5, and you're going to score it on all 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So you're going to score it at the 3-inch mark, and then 1/2 inch on each side to make your pocket. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and miter my corners on this pocket so I can have it ready. And remember, when you're mitering your pockets, you want to make sure that these pieces are not overlapping down here in the corner. If you just cut it a little bit so you've got some room, and this one isn't, right here. Okay, that should do it. So you got room. Your pocket's going to lay flatter. It's not going to have a bulge. It's going to have a nice smooth edge to it. Okay, we're going to set that aside. Now on your 8.5 or your 8 by 8, I marked mine at the top 3 inches, and then on the side over here I marked it at 4. So I'm going to get my cutter out, and I'm going to align this, the 3-inch mark here and my 4-inch mark there, and I'm just going to align it right here, and I'm just going to cut it off. Okay, so that is going to be our angle pocket. Go ahead and miter your corner over here on this pocket, and you want to also do it on the top and the side. Okay, and then we're going to get our album again, and on the back cover, we're going to line this up right. And I already put my pattern pieces on my back cover. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. And I'm going to just butt it right up to the edge of my pattern paper, on the side and at the bottom. Burnish it to make sure it's down flat. Okay, now before I add the top pocket, I cut a piece of my pattern paper, 7.5 by 7.5, and I'm just going to stick it right in here. Sure I am. There. Yep. And I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to mark my line there. Oh, I didn't even do it. Pencil doesn't want to work. Here I have one. Okay. I'm just going to bring it down right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just go back in here, line this up, and just trim it off right there. So I want to trim the bottom, and I'm just going to trim like 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. And I'm going to trim 1/8 of an inch off on this side here as well. Okay, let's see. All right, perfect. So let me go ahead and ink my edges on this. Add my glue. Okay. Okay. One thing I will tell you is whenever you go to trim your paper to fit your pocket, once you've cut this edge here, don't cut it again. To cut up on this actual even lines, not one that is slanted, and you should be able to have a perfect fit then. Okay, now we're going to add our top pocket on top of this. I'm going to just check to make sure it fits, and it does. It fits perfect. So we're going to go ahead and add our adhesive. And I'm just going to bring it right to the edge. And I went ahead, I'm going to use the brown here, and I've already cut it. I've already added ink my corners, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Okay, so that's going to give you a nice big pocket to hold a lot of photo mats or pictures, just putting photos in there. Another pocket here that can hold photo mats or your cut aparts. So I like that because it gives me a lot more space for photos. And then I'm going to make some photo mats and stick it back in here. And I'll probably put some cut aparts here, the cutouts here. And then I use the solid wood grain here, #1, to match it up, to kind of keep it all blend together. And I'm going to, then being that it's solid, I can use this to add some of my stickers or my chipboard or whatever. So that is the inside, front and back cover of this album. I'll be back once I get all the pages in. Actually, I'm going to go ahead, before I do let you go, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did the pages, because I have the pages done. So if you remember on this, the pages we did with just, it's not going to have a spine. Your pages are going to be your spine. So you want to kind of line them up. And I have 4 pages. So I'm trying to back to back. So let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to start with the back pages. The back page. And I'm going to add my art glitter glue to just the one side, the back side of my hinge. This is one of those pages that the hinges are made into the page. So I'm going to go ahead and align it up here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm even at the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to burnish it down. Make sure it's down before you move it. It's adhered. Okay. Take my next page, and again, if you remember when we did this, our hinges are towards on the left hand side and we're bending them back. And add my glue. You can use score tape on these as well. I use my glue now. I love my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to butt that up even with that page right there. Make sure I adhere it down. Okay, there's your second page, third page. Now the second page. And again, have my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to butt it right up to that page right there. Making sure that my pages are matching each other. Okay. And now our first page. And I'm going to bring this over in this way and match it up. Whoops. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, and there I go. And there's my album. Alright, I'll be back with the walkthrough once I get it all decorated. See you soon.